Well, hello. Today, in order to be successful, you need to have a notebook, no whiteboard, because we're going to move pretty quickly and you don't know anything to answer any questions, so we're just going to start there. Yesterday, first period, decided that you are testing on Tuesday of this coming week because we have no school Monday. You're testing on Tuesday, and Wednesday we have SAT day, so I'm not seeing you anyway. So, with that being said, I am going to curve the test on Tuesday. It's guaranteed, absolutely going to happen. You're helping me out by getting it done on Tuesday instead of dealing with it on Thursday. Is everyone clear on that? So, there will be a curve, and it will be helpful. You're helping me, I help you. This is how this works. Yes? Perfect. Second period yesterday decided that they wanted to do a map because they wanted the 10 points. So, your map, and I would take a photo of it, is right up here. So when you leave today, I would take a photo of it as you leave. It's right up here. Okay. So I think it's your last map of the year. Or no, we have one more map. Second to last map of the entire year. You only have 3 more weeks of content. Then we're done. So we're in World War II right now, and we are going to move really quickly. So at the top of your notes, of course, you have week 26. I would even write World War II next to it, because that's the big identifiers. All right, here we go. So, your teams, you have the Allies. Okay, so you got England, France. Okay, England and France are going to be your first 2 major allies. Okay, the United States is going to join later. So these are late additions. Late additions. The United States is going to join. Does anyone know when we join? Joey. There you go. U.S. is joined December 7th, 1941. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened on December 7th, 1941? Pearl Harbor. Okay? So, England and France are both going to join in 1939. Okay, that's when Hitler invades Poland. Both England and France are going to declare war in 1939. The United States is going to declare late, and we're going to declare in 1941. Soviet Union, Soviets/Russia. At this point, they will score either one, but it's the Soviets. They're also going to join late, and they're going to join in 1940. Post Operation Barbarossa. Which, of course, we will get to. Does anyone know what Operation Barbarossa is? Joe?
It's
Hitler's plan or Hitler's invasion? There you go. They're going to have, the reason why the Soviets join late is because they have a peace treaty with Germany. And Hitler's like, yeah, bruh, nah. And then he invades. And that's why they join late. So, those are your major allied powers. So, your allies, England, France, eventually the U.S. and the Soviets. Then you have your other team, which are the Axis powers. Okay, they are not called the Central powers. They are called the Axis powers. And of course, we have Germany. Okay, we of course have Italy, which is going through some tough times right now. Jeez, this coronavirus, in case you haven't heard. Okay, and then we have Austria-Hungary. Okay, so those are 3 major Axis powers. They are all going to start the war at the same time. Okay, so there's no delay, nothing like that. Okay, so your major people. Major people you need to know for World War II. Okay, so we'll start with England. We got Winston Churchill. Okay, he's the Prime Minister of England. France, I don't need you to know the guy from France, but it's Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle. Joey?
Isn't Japan on the Axis?
Oh yeah, you're right. Hello. That's an important one. We need to write in Japan. Hello. Thank you, Joey, for being here today. That is really helpful. Yeah, Japan, because who bombs us? Yeah, who pulls us in? It's important that we put them on the damn list. Thank you, Joey, for being here today. Okay, Winston Churchill for England. You need to know FDR. He is the U.S. president. U.S. president for 95% of the war. Okay, so if he's the only president for 95% of the war, does that mean we have a second president? And who is it? Someone other than Joey who knows something about World War II. Lily. Truman. Truman. U.S. president. U.S. president. And his big claim to fame is dropping atomic bombs. Okay, he's the guy who makes the decision to drop the atomic bombs. So we got Winston Churchill, we got FDR, we have Joseph Stalin. Okay, he's the USSR, so the Soviets. Okay, he hates the Allies, but is forced to work with them. And why is he forced to work with them? Yeah, because he gets invaded by Hitler. Okay? Of course, we have Adolf Hitler. Germany. Okay, I mean, it's Hitler. Do I need to qualify it? It's Hitler. We should know who he is. We have Mussolini. What is Mussolini's first name? Video. Hello. I didn't sleep last night. Can you tell? Mussolini. He's Italy. Okay. And then Austria, Germany. I don't need you to know. I don't need you to know the ruler of Japan. But those are the big ones. Okay. Those are the big ones. We'll have some other people sprinkled in, but these are the absolute must-knows. Winston Churchill, FDR, Truman, Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, and Benito Mussolini. Perfect. Okay, so that lays the foundation for everything else we need to know, and there'll be way more notes going on. All right, so I have a bunch of stuff that I didn't get to show you last week that I do want to show you. We already know Lenin. We have... Okay, so we have the Great Depression. I didn't get to show you any of these yesterday, okay, or this past week. You don't know who these are? They're great heroes to American culture, Americana. They rob banks. Bonnie and Clyde, yeah. They become super famous during the Great Depression because everyone's poor and all of a sudden they're just robbing the banks, which everyone hates the banks because of all the money lost and all that stuff. Here's what Times Square used to look like. This is the soup kitchens that are coming out of Times Square, okay? Wanted. People are all out of jobs. Okay, Dust Bowl, some famous pictures. Okay, fascism. Now this is going to start, what country does fascism start in? Italy, and it's started by Mussolini, okay, newspaper editor. Here he is, Mussolini in all of his grandeur. Okay, now, a huge part of fascism is militarism, which is every time you see Adolf Hitler, he's always wearing a military-style uniform, because militarism is a huge component. Same thing with Mussolini. Okay, here is Hitler and Mussolini. Mussolini starts fascism. Hitler's like, damn, you got some nice moves over there, can you teach me? And he's like, yeah, I can teach you. And then Hitler learns from Mussolini, then goes to Germany and does it better. By the end of the war, Hitler is over Mussolini and literally allows him to get captured. Mussolini gets captured at the end of the war in a dress, trying to smuggle himself out of Italy to get to Germany, and he gets strung up and killed dangling from a light post. Spoiler alert. Alright, so here they are, friends. This is the official building of the Italian government. That's Mussolini's face. And in case you don't know Italian, C means yes. Yes, yes, yes to Mussolini. This is propaganda from Italy. This building, the day after he gets captured and murdered and gutted on a light post, this building gets burned down. I think we can see why, yes? Okay, so you have to appreciate, can you imagine putting your face on a building like that? Like, damn. Okay, now Mussolini, just like Hitler, is going to be an incredibly passionate speaker, which is how he gets people to become so enamored by him. His power comes from his ability to speak and get in touch with the things that make us the most uncomfortable. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would fascism have occurred if the economy was soaring? No. No. When times are tough, people listen to really harsh messages, and fascism is a really harsh message about how we should be better. It's their fault, it's not our fault. We are a great society. It's not us, it's them. That's why fascism picks up so much, because of the economic instability. I just think he looks like a turtle. So I like this one.
What is that?
It's Mussolini.
Oh, okay.
Just like a turtle, Mussolini. Okay, so here we are teaching little Italians how to fight and march. Okay, look, the people loved him. Okay, because keep in mind, Italy got kicked in the gut after World War I with receiving nothing in the Treaty of Versailles. They felt like the whole world was was talking shit about them, and they wanted someone to come up into power and say, hey, we're better than this, and that's why they fall right behind on Mussolini. Hitler, okay? This is the opening of the 1938 or 39 Olympic Games, whatever year it was. What is it?
36.
Is it 36? Joey, damn, okay, 36. This is the opening of the Games. As you can see, it's super militaristic. Everything about fascism is militaristic, okay? Here's a classroom in Germany. This is the front of the room. Who is in the front of the room? There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine if I had a massive photo of Donald Trump here. Okay, and 4 years ago, I would have had a picture of Obama and stuff like that. Is that what we do here in the United States? No, because it's not about the man or woman in the office. It is about the office itself, correct? Fascism, is that how it is? It's about the identity of the person. So Hitler is front and center in Germany, and who is front and center in Italy? Mussolini, as you saw. I mean, they literally put his face on the building, for God's sake. Okay? So here's Hitler. Okay, we got our book burning. Anytime someone's like, hey, let's go burn a bunch of books, you know things are going wrong. Because the first thing people do when people come into power is limit how much information you have. So if people tell you you can't read a book, what book is the only book you should really want to read? That book, because they're trying to get you. Mein Kampf, no. You can read it. It's available, but it's kind of awful. Okay? So here's Hitler. We got some propaganda. Look how happy this kid is. How could he be mad? Okay? I love this photo. Yeah. He's like, look at this. Man, ladies, calm down. He's taken. Ava Braun has him, okay? So slow down. Look how sassy he is. He's like, yeah, looking good today. Anyway. Okay, so militarism, as you can see, is a huge component, of course, of Nazi Germany. These are people. These are people. Fascism catches on really quickly in Germany because, A, fascism is only attractive during times of great economic struggle, yes? Does the Great Depression affect Germany? Yes. Yes. It has its worst effect on Germany. So, Hitler comes into power. Now, please hear me clearly. Hitler is a horrible human being. Horrible human being. Does disgusting, horrible things. He's a terrible person. Please hear that. However, administratively, damn, that man got things done. He took the weakest country in Europe, and in some parts in comparison around the world, and in less than 8 years made it the most powerful country in the world. Can we appreciate that for a second? That is pretty impressive administrative work. Is he still a super shitty person? Is he a disgusting human being? Does that forgive him for all the shitty things he did? Absolutely not. However, administratively and politically, is he incredibly powerful and really impressive? Yes. Shitty human being. Don't forget that. However, what he did for Germany was pretty damn impressive, taking it from the weakest country to the most powerful country in only about 7 years, which is Pretty damn impressive. In the middle of a depression, by the way. Okay? Which is why the people of Germany loved him as hard as they did, because of it. Look at him, I mean, here we go. Alright, so, we got our Aryan youth men. Here we go. Little summer camp. Okay? So, we got Hitler. Hitler was also an incredibly passionate speaker. If you go to YouTube, you can listen to him speak. Now, he speaks in German. So if you don't know German, you're going to have to read the subtitles. But if you do, everyone's looking at Emily, so I'm assuming you can speak German, can you? Yeah. There you go. Emily will be able to understand the rest of us and be like, what? But you can pick up the cadence of his speaking. And you can't help but hang on every single word he says because he's such an impassionate speaker, which is why he can control the masses as efficiently as he did. Okay, so this is his niece. He didn't have any kids of his own. Okay, and she ends up killing herself after the war. Alright, so we got Kristallnacht. We know the Night of Broken Glass. It's the official start of the Holocaust. Okay. Goebbels and all that stuff. Alright, perfect. Alright, here we go. So start of World War II. Let's do it. Okay, so the official start of World War II, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be whose invasion? We already I taught it to you on Tuesday. Nope. No, Russia's not doing much right now. Russia's trying to stay out of everything. Oh God, people! It's a country you definitely aren't thinking about. They're gonna bomb us. Japan's invasion of. There you go. So the start of World War I is going to happen with Japan's invasion of Manchuria. Japan's invasion of Manchuria is going to be the first one, okay? And that happens in 1930. I think it's 33. Okay, so what does Europe do about it? Nothing. They do nothing about it because why? What's in full force? The Great Depression. Does everyone have their own problems? Yes. So, Europe does nothing about it. So, the second breaking. So, start of World War II. So, we're talking about the breaking of the Treaty of Versailles. Okay. So, first one is going to be Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1933. The second is Italy's invasion / attack of Ethiopia. Oh my God. Ethiopia. Why is Italy invading Ethiopia? Why is Italy invading Ethiopia, Cade? Well, why are they independent? Madison. Yeah, why weren't they colonized? Shannon. Ethiopia is the only African country that defeated a European country during imperialism. So, in payback, what does Mussolini do? Invades Ethiopia. Why? Punishment. Absolutely. In his invasion, they're going to kill 500,000 people in less than a week. And they straight up just light the country on fire. Why? It's revenge. Guess what? What does Europe do? Nothing! Why? Oh, Italy. Don't do it again. And I was like, oh my God, bro, I'm so sorry. It won't happen again. Well, guess who's watching? Italy. Hitler. So, Italy's invasion / attack of Ethiopia. This is done by Mussolini, of course. Mussolini has finally industrialized Italy completely, so that's how he flexes his power. So, Hitler. Third thing, Hitler increases the size of his military, of Germany's military.
Okay? What is on specifically said in the Treaty of Versailles? He can't do that. Guess what the Europeans do? Nothing. So he's like, oh man, it's fine. Okay, they do absolutely nothing. So, fourth thing, Hitler's like, well damn, I got my military. Well shit. So Hitler's like, well if they didn't say anything for that, Hitler is going to invade the Rhineland. Oh my god. Why did Hitler decide to invade the Rhineland? Why, Reagan? It was taken from Germany and given to who? France. Okay, and the Rhineland is like the breadbasket of Germany. Okay, that's where most nutritious soil is. That's where they're getting a lot of their crops. They also have a ton of factories. It's a huge economic system. So, all of a sudden, okay, Hitler invades Rhineland. Europe notices. Europe notices for the first time. They're like, oh shit, that's not good. So, what is going to happen is that we're now going to have the Munich conference. So, everything prior to Hitler's invasion of the Rhineland goes unchecked by Europe. Okay? So the Treaty of Versailles says you can't do any of these things. Okay? Then Hitler invades the Rhineland and England and France are like, whoa, dude, you can't take it. And they're like, let's get together and talk about it. So, at the Munich conference, England, France, Germany, US, and Italy get together to talk it out. Okay? So, at the Munich conference, they get together to talk it out. Okay? Hitler says, hey man, I got screwed during the Treaty of Versailles. England and France are like, you know what, Hitler? You're right. You did get screwed. And we're sorry about that, Hitler. And he's like, yeah, man, what are you going to do about it? And England and France are like, bruh, how about we give you more land? And he's like, I like that. So, at the Munich conference, Hitler gets Rhineland. So he already invaded it, but he officially gets it back. He gets the Rhineland and the Sudetenland. Okay, so he gets 2 territories that were stripped from him. Okay, and then he says, I'm a, in quote, satisfied power. I'm happy. I have everything I want. I won't do anything else. And everyone is like, gee whiz, we saved the day. Hitler's happy. We're happy. World War II has been avoided. Everyone's like, yay! Okay? So, everything, he literally gives in. Okay? Everyone gives in. This is called, and you absolutely need to know, appeasement. Appeasement. When Europe gives in to Hitler's demands. Okay, so all of this is happening at the Munich conference. The Munich conference is a perfect example of appeasement, giving in to Hitler's demands. Okay, so what is eventually going to happen after the Munich conference? Okay, Hitler's got all of his land, and he's like, you know what? We should make a team, Italy. So, Italy, Germany, and Japan form Axis powers. Okay? England and France do nothing. So, does Hitler see a threat against it? No, he's like, hell yeah. They just keep giving me whatever I want. Hell yeah. Okay? So, oh, can we also add Sudetenland, Rhineland, and Czechoslovakia? He gets the Rhineland, Czechoslovakia, and the Sudetenland. Love it. Yes, sir. Sudetenland is just a part. It's near France. So France got it. Okay. Alright. Okay, your sixth thing is that Hitler signs a non-aggression pact with the USSR. Okay? So who's the leader of the USSR, ladies and gentlemen? Stalin is in charge. So they signed a non-aggression pact. And one of the promises is, okay, you need to know, there is a promise that if Hitler invades Poland, USSR gets half. Stay out of war. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the trickiest maps that we did was almost a month ago at this point. Why does Hitler want Poland? What's in Poland that Hitler needs, absolutely wants, and we're in World War II, so everyone kind of needs it. What's in Poland, Emma? Natural resources. He needs the iron ore and all the coal. This is your first real massive war front. So, everyone wants Poland. So Hitler is waiting for that opportunity. So, he signs a non-aggression treaty with the USSR. Now that everything is set, he knows he no longer can fight a how many front war? 2 front war. Remember? Because the reason why Germany lost World War I is because they fought 2 front war. So Hitler's like, hell yeah, I've just saved myself from fighting a 2 front war. I have the Russians on my side because the Russians are pissed off at the Allies because they got nothing at the end of the Treaty of Versailles, correct? So Stalin wants nothing to do with them. And of course, they're Soviets and they're capitalists, so there's tons of bad blood there. So he's like, hell yeah, solved it. I am now in the perfect place. So, guess what? He is going to invade on September 1st. You need to know that. 1939. It's an absolute necessity that you know that date. Hitler invades Poland. Hitler invades Poland. England and France declare war immediately. Okay, official start of World War II. Okay, so on September 1st, 1939, Hitler is going to invade Poland. Okay? It's a complete surprise attack, and he uses what we call blitzkrieg. This is the first viewing of blitzkrieg. In quotes, like in war. When we talk about blitzkrieg, it comes in 3 waves. The first wave is heavy bombing. Second wave are quick moving, fast moving tanks. And then your third wave, overwhelming troops. And ladies and gentlemen, this is like like crazy fast. It is super, super fast. Because everything is perfectly planned. So, Hitler is going to invade Poland on September 1st, 1939. This is the first official unveil of Blitzkrieg. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Hitler is going to win World War II for 3/4 of the war. Like, even when the United States joined in 1940, after we get bombed in Pearl Harbor, we're getting our butts kicked by Hitler. Like, we are losing the war for a very long time. Eventually, we'll turn the tide, and eventually, we'll win. Does anyone know what that massive battle, the largest battle in the history of the world, that we turn the tides? Evan? D-Day, absolutely, with the actual invasion of European continent in France. That's when we start turning the tide, just because we overwhelm them. Okay, so Blitzkrieg is going to happen because of it. All right. So Blitzkrieg is going to be incredibly effective. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, Germany is going to. This is Germany. They've taken over Czechoslovakia. They're have made an alliance with Austria-Hungary, which is right here. They have Hitler. They have Stalin on their side, and this is their invasion of Poland. Their invasion of Poland is super quick with fast-moving tanks and troop movements. Okay, and it is a huge deal. This is Hitler and his dog. Okay, it is kind of a cute dog, though. Really agree. Even if it's Hitler's dog, I mean, it's still a cute dog. With that being said, this is Hitler waiting to hear how the invasion goes. Now, keep in mind that Hitler knew with the invasion of Poland that it was going to trigger the start of something. He wasn't absolutely sure that France and England would actually stand up, because have they stood up at all? No. But he thought, this could start this. So he made sure he was absolutely prepared to start the war, and he absolutely was. Was England and France ready? No, and that's going to take some time. They're going to have to get their butts kicked for quite some time. So here they are rolling into Warsaw. Here are German troops. So England and France are going to go to war over it. Who are these? What troops? English. They have the same dumb hats from World War I. Okay? So you can always tell a British troop because they always have the same hats, which is very nice. Can we agree? That is very nice. Okay? So Britain is going to declare war. This is Neville Chamberlain. Neville Chamberlain on September 1st is going to step down and say, I have failed the British people, because he said that Germany was a satisfied power, and they were not, and there we go. So we have overhead bombings in World War II. Okay? When we talk about like carpet bombing and overhead bombings, this is like indiscriminate bombing. World War I was the deadliest war the world's ever seen until World War II. And the reason why so many more people are going to die in World War II is because we just have airplanes just dropping bombs from the sky. And it's just killing everyone below. Okay, so this happens to be a picture of Britain, but you can see just the destruction. Okay, here are Germans showing up. Here's Warsaw, the capital of Warsaw, after it's being bombed by the Germans. Here's some more British people, because we're going to get there. Synagogues were, of course, attached. All right, so we've officially started the war. So here we go, World War II. World War II begins. So we have officially have Hitler invades Poland. Okay, so the first major thing is Hitler invades Poland. We already know this. Okay, so France and England declare war. You already know. Okay, so the first major event of World War I is a non-event, which is funny. It's called the Phony War. Okay? Essentially, England and France, Germany, and Austria, Hungary, form along the Western Front. I put Western Front in quotes. Why is the Western Front in quotes? What war is it from? World War I. So, essentially, okay, the war is declared. Okay, World War II has been declared. England and France show up to essentially where the trenches were in World War I. Germany and Austria show up where the trenches were in World War I, and they just stare at each other. Yeah, they just stare at each other. Why do you think neither of them engaged? Why, Reagan?
I don't think either of them want to.
No one wants to relive World War I. Keep in mind, all of the senior military officials of World War II were in, yeah, they were just regular, like, 18-year-old boys in World War I, and now they're in their late 40s in charge of the military forces of World War II. They know what it's like to fight in the trenches. So when they all show up there, they're just like, this isn't what we want. Okay, so with that being said, they stare at each other, and then Germany decides to invade Denmark instead. Then Germany decides to invade Denmark. Why do you think he decided to invade Denmark instead of going right after the French? No one wants to be in the trenches again. So keep in mind, the horrors of World War I are following people into World War II. People are fully aware of what was happening in World War I and they don't want to relive it, which is why we have the Phony War. So Germany invades Denmark, so we don't have any trench warfare in World War II because the Phony War was just like, people are like, hell no, I don't want to deal with this crap again. I don't want to have this. So, okay, so there we go. So Denmark gets taken pretty quick. They're also going to take Amsterdam, Netherlands, and all that stuff. So, okay, so the Phony War. Everyone thought the war was going to go quickly. Okay, along the French and German border, these are the types of infrastructure that the Germans were building during the Great Depression. You can go visit them today in Germany. You can take tours of these infrastructure and these bunkers that they built. Some of them today are in France, and you can go in and tour and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So, like Hitler, was this a surprise that Hitler declared war, or was this well planned? Well planned, absolutely. With all this infrastructure, obviously it's all concrete, so it can take a massive beating. By the way, after the war ends in Europe, because there's two major theaters, one's in Europe and one, of course, in the Pacific, there were places that we didn't find that had German troops still thinking they were in war, bunkered in until about 6 or 8 months after the war was over in Europe, because of how remote some of these places were. Okay, this is a turret gun, so anyone who's on above it, they would just massacre with machine guns and stuff like that. So everything is built in pretty damn effectively. These bunkers we're going to see on Normandy Beach, which is going to be the major reason why it has the highest death count of any battle, because this is all solid, like 8 feet of solid concrete, and these are just machine guns and other types of heavy machinery that is just going to obliterate anyone who comes up against them. Germans, this is the German hood for the hat for World War II. Kind of flaps over the ears a little bit, so anytime you see that, you know it's German. Okay, so we have the Phony War, which is your first. So the invasion of Poland happens first, then we go into the Phony War, which will end in the invasion of Denmark and a couple of the other smaller countries up north. Then we have the fall of France. Your third major event is the fall of France. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, the fall of France is going to be a huge blow. Because right now there's only 2 countries fighting against Hitler, and who are they? England and France. So when France falls, who's the only one left? There you go. So you need to know that Hitler is going to captures France from the north, but does not use blitzkrieg. Does not use blitzkrieg. It's the only country he doesn't use it on. He uses it on Denmark. He even uses it on the Netherlands, for God's sake. Okay? Netherlands give up pretty quickly, which is why it's still pretty intact. If you go to the Netherlands today, anyone ever been to like Amsterdam? It's very cool. It looks like an old, because they gave up really quickly. Denmark, same type of thing. They give up pretty quickly. France does not get blitzkrieg. Why? Does anyone know? Hitler doesn't bomb France from above. Why? No. France isn't known for their infrastructure. Huh? Architecture, no, but they're no. Jared? Their art. Hitler's massive pet project, personally, is to build the largest museum in history. And he was building it, and he was collecting art all throughout Europe. And so, where are most of the artists living during this time? France, absolutely. So, where are some of the most important pieces of art? France. So, he does not bomb France because he doesn't want to lose the art. So, he can build the largest museum in history, which is why today in 2020, some of the most important pieces of art that you've studied in Ren's class, you can't see it because it doesn't exist anymore. Why? Hitler stole it and either burned it, or it's hidden and lost, or someone has it hanging in their living room and hasn't returned it. So that's why. So there's no blitzkrieg in France, which is why if you go to Paris today, it looks like the Paris you have in your head. Anyone here been to England? You been to London? Does London look like London? No, London looks like a modern day city. Can we agree? It looks like you could be in the United States, right? Could be Philadelphia, could be New York, like huge sky rises, buildings look super modern. The reason is because England gets blown to shit. Nothing in England stands pretty much. There's a couple buildings here and there that have just been beaten to hell, but they kept the outsides and tried to replace it. France is the opposite of that. France, when you go to France, it is exactly what you think of, being built in the late 1700s, early 1800s. It looks exactly like you think it should because Hitler didn't want to bomb it. Why? Because he needed the art. So he doesn't bomb. Okay, so the fall of France, Hitler does not use blitzkrieg. Okay, the final battle in France will be Dunkirk, where less than 400,000 French troops are evacuated to England. Okay, so Dunkirk, there's a terrible movie about it. Harry Styles, for God's sake. It's a terrible movie. It's an awful movie. They don't say anything throughout the whole freaking movie. If you really want to learn about Dunkirk, there's a Churchill movie that came out, The Darkest Hour, that came out a couple years ago. It is fantastic. They talk about Dunkirk. Ladies and gentlemen, Dunkirk is actually a fascinating battle. Essentially, the whole French military get pinned in this little coastal town called Dunkirk. It's a small, tourist town. It's not, a big deal. It's a small little town. But 400,000 of French's soldiers get pinned there. They have the Germans pushing in from the east on two sides, and they have the English Channel on the other side. It looked like all of France's military was going to completely get captured or murdered there because they were just bombing the shit out of it. Winston Churchill called out to every person in England who has a seafaring vessel to send their ship to Dunkirk to rescue these boys. So you had little ships, I'm talking you would think for lobstering, okay? These small little boats that are crossing the English Channel to pick up soldiers to rescue them and bring them back to England. It is the largest rescue in the history of the world. Thousands of boats of just regular people like you and I are going across the English Channel to pick up these boys. Now, these boys will be brought to England, so they give up France. France falls after Dunkirk. There's no more military in France. France had to give it up. Those men who are rescued at Dunkirk are going to be the first waves of men to go back on D-Day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on D-Day, we lose the first 3 waves of men. Like straight up, they just get annihilated on the beach. And who is leading the charge back into France? France. Now, Charles de Gaulle is going to be the French military leader. He is going to be evacuated to France. So he is running the French military in England. And that is why when today you fly into Paris, you fly into Charles de Gaulle Airport. So he is considered a national hero because even though France loses its country to Hitler, and I've got some amazing photos of Hitler. Look at him, he's so happy. Dancing, okay? You know, just taking a casual photo. You know, just like I have a photo of me standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, just like that. Hitler had to have one too, man. We literally were. We stood on the same balcony that he did. Where everyone was. Isn't it cool though? Isn't it interesting?
Only you got to go, yeah. It's just so weird to think about how people like wouldn't be really, everything would have changed. Yeah.
Like everything was real good. If he was actually good, he had actually got his birthday
Don't you think this sounds interesting at least? Joey, I'm so glad you were here, man. I really needed your help this morning, man.
Joey's really good at one more thing.
Yeah, I got that actually. I got that back.
Like he's just no random facts.
What's fascinating stuff?
I just finished my math homework. Uh-oh.
I just got random. I just made the little carrot thing and Christmas cards.
Oh.
3 years ago.
No, you want to send that?
That's why I wanted to reread it.
Yeah.
I have a picture of it.
Oh, okay.
No.